Hi amazing people and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching how to achieve a 6x6 closure knotless wig using two different braiding methods. In this video, I'm also going to be teaching you how to ventilate your own DIY wig from the scratch. And yes, this is the result of the knotless wig. Like this is so beautiful. Yeah, so if this sounds like something you're interested in, please watch till the end. I'm also going to be sharing insightful tips. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also click on the like button and also to share with your loved ones. Mwah! For this tutorial, I'll be making use of these three colors. I'll be mixing them together. Started. So all I'm trying to do is just to draw the line I'll be using to ventilate. So I don't ventilate across the wig cap. I'm using my tape rule to measure it and having a 6x6. Then I'll take the center, 6 divided by 2, that's 3, which is the center. Then align it. So that will be the center of my wig. So that has parted the wig into 2. If you're working with a 5x5, you can work with a 6x6, 4x4, whichever one you want. Then vertically, I'll be taking 1 inch on both sides. Yeah, on both sides. On all sides, I'm taking 1 inch vertically. Then I try to join the line from the front to the back. I do that for all the O lines. And horizontally, I'll also be taking 1 inch on both sides. So I want to achieve 1 by 1 size. I don't want it too big, I don't want it too small. It is based on preference. For you, it can be 2 point, it can be 3/4, it can be ½ inch. It is based on what you want. So I'm going to be ventilating 3 lines on this side, 3 lines on this, 3 side lines, and also 3 lines on this. So I'm making use of my ventilating needle and I'm using the 2 to 3 pin. So I will take 2 to 3 strands of hair. I'll pass it through one of the O, then I'll try to tie the knots, then I'll pull it out, then I use my hands to adjust it. Then you take one O, you ventilate a hole, then skip the next O one, you skip the next O, then go to the next one, and also do the same to take your 2 to 3 strands of hair, you tie the knot, you skip the next one. So you do that for all the lines. So I'll be ventilating 3 lines on the side. So I'll skip that whole line, I'll skip all this line, and I'll skip one hole horizontally and go to the next. I'll also do the same ventilation. So this is what it looks like. I've gone to ventilate it off camera. So I ventilated 3 lines, 3 lines on that, also 3 lines. I'm ventilating 3 lines and also 3 lines on this. That's to form a box. So here is what it looks like. I went off camera to ventilate some of it. So I'm ventilating 3 lines on this side. So here is what it looks like. This is the beauty. When you take 2 to 3 strands of hair, you have this small knots. When you take more than when you take you're taking 5 strands or 4 strands, you don't have a tiny knot like this. It tends to look so big and it's looking like it's an attachment. It is made of attachment. You could also make your own ventilation with attachment and it's looking like a human closure. Just make sure you're taking 2 to 3 strands of hair, you take 1 hole and you're skipping the rest. So I'll be ventilating 3 boxes diagonally, vertically on both sides to form a box, and try to be consistent while taking the knot. Make sure it's 2 to 3 strands of hair. Yeah, there's no rule that says you have to ventilate only 3 boxes. You could ventilate everything, but for me, I choose to ventilate 3 lines on all sides in order to form the box, the closed double box. So I'm ventilating also 3 lines on this side to try to join it all. So don't forget to also skip 1 line and go to the next one. So here is the result of what it looks like. The knots are so tiny, as you can see, and it's looking so beautiful and well aligned. Just watch out for my next video. I'll be making a well detailed tutorial on how to ventilate your box braid. So here is the result of what the ventilated hair looks like, and oops, it's looking so super neat and well lined up. Like, it's looking so beautiful. Like, you really can't detect it's an attachment from afar, but oops, it's so beautiful. I'm making use of my shine and jam gel then I apply it to it. It tends to help it look neat and make it look silky. It has a very nice smell. So we'll be starting with the first method of ventilation. I take the hair, I braid it about 4 times. Then I use my index and my thumb finger to grip. Then I pull the hair in between I pass it through the first and the last line. Then I use my thumb and my index fingers also grip the 2 sides so that they don't lose. Then I add the quantity of hair you pick. Doesn't matter. There's no particular standard. For me, I want to achieve a medium braid. So I add the hair about 6 to 7 times. You could add it as much as you want, or you could take whatever quantity you want. There is no standard quantity. It is based on what you want to achieve. You could even make the tip look so tiny based on how you want it. So I keep adding the attachment till I get to my desired size. While you are braiding, make sure you try to tuck the hair in so that it doesn't show like I'm having a mixture of black and the colored attachment you're using. You try to hide the hair behind the attachments while braiding so it looks so beautiful. At this point, I've also gotten to the size I want. Then I braid down, and also not forgetting to hide the attachments while I braid. It's quite so easy. Just watch it. You get it. Yeah, this is still the first method. I noticed that wasn't a clearer view, so I tried to make a clearer view. So I part the hair into 3. I braid 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Then I stop. Then I try to use my thumb and my index finger to grab that. Then I put the hair in between. You can see I used my thumb to grip that side so it doesn't have this loose look, so it doesn't try to lose. Then I use my top and index finger to also grip it while I add another attachment in between them. Then I pass it through. Then I plait 1, then 2. I stop. I use my thumb and my index finger. You could plait more than twice. You could plait 4 times based on how tiny or what look you want. So while I'm braiding, you can see I'm trying to hide the attachment behind the color there so it doesn't show. When it tends to show, you're seeing the black, you're seeing the color there. Yeah, you could also you're seeing the black and you're seeing a color there. So I keep adding till I get the desired size I want. While I'm braiding, I'm also making sure I don't forget to tuck in the black hair so it doesn't show. Make sure you use your thumb and your index finger to grab the hair while you are trying to add an attachment. If you don't, it will not have this tight look, and the braid is going to be losing at that point. So it's going to not have. You can see it's tight. You just look at it. It's very tight and it's looking so beautiful. Yeah. So at that point I didn't hide the black hair, so I tried to hide it. Just watch it closely. It's quite easy. Practice make perfect. It's quite easy. You can do it. So I'm done with that. We'll be moving on to the next method. So here's the second method. You could use whichever method you want based on your preference. Even using this method is still going to give me the same knotless wig. Now this I also braid about 6 times again. Then I add the attachment, but in this point is in a different pattern. Just watch the way I'll add this. I take my attachment, I add it over my finger, then I add it into the the middle one. I plait while I pull the other end I plait twice, then I draw it in. Then I add again, I pass it through the middle finger 1, I pull the other one out, then 2. Then I take it, I put it in between that middle finger, not the other side, but the middle finger, the middle hair, I mean, not the two last ends, but the middle. Watch it closely. Put it in the middle of the hair, the middle braid. Then you keep adding in that same manner till you get the desired result. You could use both methods. For me, sometimes I use this method and sometimes I use the first method, but throughout this video I used the first method. So I keep braiding. Then I've gotten my desired result. I also didn't forget to also hide the attachment while I'm braiding so it doesn't show. Then I achieved my desired result. Then I braid to the end. Just keep watching closely, you would get it. Yeah, the mist color is really giving this vibe. Like, I'm really loving the mixture of the fire orange, color 30 and color 27. So here is the result of the two methods, the first and the second method. You could see they both gave the same knotless, so it's based on whatever you want. So I'm done ventilating the front, and this is the result of what it looks like. And there's no particular fixed method for me. I like starting from the front, then I go to the other sides, then I go to the back. So for the back, I take a 1-inch cap on each. Then I try to mark the sides I want to braid, the points I want to braid. I make sure the next line is not overlapping on the next line. So the part which would cover the whole back of the hair, so you want to make sure this part is also looking full and well. So I take in a smaller portion through the net, then I also add a bigger portion, then I tie, then I braid. For me, I use the feeding method. I could just take in everything I want, but I don't want the tip or the knot there to look so big. I don't want it to look in such way, so I just decided to do it in the feeding method. But I didn't just add so much. I just added the attachment just twice, and I still achieved the same desired method. You could just take in the braid at once. Just take the bigger size you want, and you still achieve the same result. So watch. I take the smaller portion, then I crochet it through the hole. I passed it, then I open it. I make sure I smoothen it. Then I took a bigger portion of which will help me achieve the size I want. Then I tie. Just watch the way I'll be twisting my hand. You carry the two sides, then twist to the other end. Then you plait. So this is not the size I want. To achieve the size I used the feeding method where I said I'll be adding the attachment. Then I take another portion. I'll just be adding it twice. Then I plait. I've achieved the desired result I want, and you can see the knot at that point is looking small. It's not looking big, even though the braid or the knotless braid is a medium braid. That point is not looking so big. It's looking fine. So I'll do the same thing for every point all around that side. So as you can see, I've done that everywhere, but just make sure the back is closed up. For the front, I didn't make it closed up because when the hair falls, I don't want it to look too bogus, so some of the hair could fall in between the line. For the back, I wouldn't be using the feeding method. I'll just take the size I want straight up. So I took this size, I took a little smaller portion I passed it through the net. Then I took a bigger portion that would give me exactly the size I want. So I took the bigger portion. Here's the bigger portion. While you're adding, make sure they are equal and one side is no longer than one. This is the exact size that will give me this. This is the exact amount of hair that will give me the size I want. So you watch the way I twist my hand. I take in the two smaller portion together. Then you could see that. Then I braid. I wouldn't be using the feeding method like I said. I'll just be using it directly to achieve the size I want. And why I did this is since it's the back, it's going to be covered. Even though the knots look big, at least it's covered by the other ones in front of it. taking a look at it, you can see the knot is quite bigger from that we made using the fading method to cover the cap. You could see the knot is quite big, so I didn't want it to be this big just like this. You could see it clearly. You could see the knots, they are bigger than that on front. So I am done. I went off camera to braid the hair, so I'm going on to the trimming of the hair. So you could even see the ventilation is looking like it's human, like a human blend, and it's looking so neat, and the color is really giving, like it is giving. The tree, I just decided to try the tree blend, so it is really giving, like it is giving. If you're I'm making use of my mousse, my above mousse, then I applied it to every part of the hair. And yes, I put the hair into hot water. I went off camera to do that. I didn't make a video of that, and so I'll be applying my mousse to it. So here is the result of the hair after applying the mousse and putting it in hot water. It's looking so neat. So I also wanted to add baby hair to it, but adding the baby hair, I used the human blend. Then I'm also trying to make the hair look like my scalp. So I took my brush, that's my makeup brush, and I'm using my foundation. I'm applying it to every of the line. When you do this, just take a foundation of your tone. So when you wear the cap, it's actually giving a blend with your skin. I did that on every line, and also after adding the ventilation to every line, I'm also adding it to the back. I took it to, so I'm adding you could use your powder, you could add your powder, but I was out of powder, so I decided to use my foundation. So here's what the wig looks like. It's looking so beautiful. The color blends are coming out, they are giving, and it's also giving this cap effect. Like it's not showing like it is made of an attachment, it's looking like it's human blend. I'm so loving it, and I hope you're also loving it. I also went ahead to style my baby hair. I didn't make use of a glue. Thank you for watching this video to the end. And I hope you enjoyed every bit of it. And I hope it was really helpful. Don't forget to like, to share, and also subscribe to my channel. Love you. Mwah.